crypto and blockchain, it's much bigger than AI. Because again, AI is almost like the platform that is more tied to the use cases as opposed to blockchain crypto being the environment. E-commerce cannot be bigger than the internet. So crypto is this new internet, if you will.
As you mentioned before, one of your learnings of running Hashdex for the last 5 years is that regulated markets take time.
Yeah.
And we finally, literally just a day before this recording, got to the point when SEC approved the first spot Bitcoin exchange trade funds, ETFs, in something that Financial Times called a watershed moment for crypto and crypto enthusiasts. And you were one of the 11 ETFs that were approved, along with BlackRock, along with Fidelity, Grayscale, and ARK. Is that right?
Yeah.
So first of all, congratulations on that.
Thank you.
It's a huge milestone.
Journey, yeah.
Are you the only Latin American company that was approved?
Non-American company? Yeah, I think so. Am I forgetting anybody? But I think so, yeah.
Double congratulations then.
Well, thank you.
So let's talk a little bit about that. What are the implications of this regulatory approval for Hashdex itself, for the industry, and for both institutional and retail investors?
So this is literally the day that US entered the crypto era, if you will. Crypto really challenges, and this is very philosophical, but this idea of value, just like the internet did that for information. Really, information was resignified with the internet. The way you create, the way you consume, the way now you have machines consuming and creating and exchanging information. That will happen for value, and that is super profound. And US has been resistant to this for a long time because that, in order to thrive, will need regulation. Libertarians like to think that, no, just let it happen. It won't. Value is regulated in many occasions for good reason. And US just entered the game now. Not because now people can invest in Bitcoin, because a lot of people, a wider crowd, will access first Bitcoin, then other products, a true investment. Institutions will do that. These guys will start learning about crypto, learning about blockchain. They're going to see the potential. They're going to see all the functionalities that it creates, all this new world that it invents, and they will want to access that. So they're going to push this for good regulation. They will work with regulators to say, okay, guys, we need to organize this and this and that. And again, this will take time, will keep taking time. Regulators, markets take time, but this is literally the moment in which this started happening in a way faster pace. What this does make in a very practical way now is that this now is available for basically everyone with a broker account. So every investor that can buy mutual funds or buy Apple stock, whatever, they just can as easily buy Bitcoin, invest in Bitcoin. For investors, which was your point, I think now you do have an asset that you can invest that is both fantastic or with fantastic potential for growth. So if you just think that this technology will keep developing, a store of value, which is the main case for Bitcoin now, is becoming something completely different than it was before. Yeah, you had people investing in gold as a store of value. You had people investing in real estate. You had people saving money in dollars or euros or yens. But now you have a digital store of value that you can program, that you can do a bunch of things that were never possible before. If you just go to the millennials, they have more crypto today already than any other asset. So now this reality, just like the internet. Remember the internet, you had like the early adopters and stuff, but eventually it became like to the mainstream.
Market.
Right. Yeah. It's like yesterday was the Netscape moment. You had like the largest IPO ever at that time. Okay, that the market crashed after, but it doesn't matter. Like at that time, Netscape did the job that a bunch of people say, what is this browser thing? Let me install it. And say, oh, wow, there's this world here. And then you had more traction, you have more technology, you have more money, you have more everything developing and building this, getting closer to what this thing could be.
So widespread availability, easier access. Are there any other major applications?
I think what you're asking is what are the use cases for crypto, right? What crypto, the fact that this thing will develop, can do. And the truth is, I can point to a bunch of things. But the coolest things I generally say that have not been invented yet. For instance, decentralized finance, DeFi. So DeFi is this disintermediation of finance in a bigger level. So take, for instance, loans. So if you want to take a loan today, you need to have collateral, you need to have a bank account, a relationship with a bank or with somebody that's going to loan you the money. And then, like you go there, like this take time, credit check. If you have this relationship well sorted out, you have a credit limit, and then you get the money, and then you have interests that are whatever size, and then you eventually pay back. This is a process that takes fairly big time, or depending what is your relationship with who's loaning you the money. All right, you go to define to the lending blockchains today. You can just get today's collateralized, but it's going uncollateralized at some point. But you just get your collateral. You talk to a machine. It's not an institution. It does not want to know who you are. It just give you collateral. The machine give you the money in whatever. Let's say you have Bitcoin and you're long at Bitcoin. You don't want to sell your Bitcoin. You just stake your Bitcoin there in the blockchain, and you're gonna take dollars because you want to take a trip. And then you take your trip. If it goes bad, eventually you're going to have a margin call that's going to be automatically. Nobody's going to call you. Boom, happened. It's a matter of seconds. And now you have like bots pretty much trading. You have literally bots, like robots, like getting a loan, using the loan and paying back in less than 1 second. How can a bank compete with that? It's lending. I can talk about decentralized exchanges. I love NYSE, like we have a great relationship with them. We work with them a lot. NASDAQ is a great partner. But down the road, the world is bigger than US. So you're going to have these pools of liquidity that will invite them to actually adopt this new infrastructure that actually are not US or Brazil or UK. It's just global. People get in, get out, and more liquidity generally wins. That's why the American market is so vibrant. Now you're going to have these global pools 24/7 operated by tech. Any digital asset can come in, can go out. Everything is marginal cost. It's fantastic. So I'm talking about very technical things, but the truth is this brings a lot of efficiency and cost reduction to the system and make it truly global, just like the internet is for information. Always have this parallel. What happened for information would happen for value in a bigger way. If you want to be more tangible, you can go NFTs. Man, the other day I had to change my passport because I run out of pages to get stamps. Come on, guys. 2024. I need stamps. I have a book that I travel. This is gone. Blockchain will solve that. NFTs will solve that because eventually you're going to have this blockchain, this protocol that nobody owns. It's not America. It's not France. It's just open source. And the countries will just use and say, okay, now you have this one number. It's not a social security number necessarily. It's not your driver's ID number. It's not your whatever number, passport number. It's going to be one thing. And everything is going to be tied to that. And you are going to decide what you give access or not. So this is an NFT because you are an NFT. I am an NFT, right? I just don't have the digital representation. Well, I have many. I have Twitter account. I have an email, but you don't have like one that is open source that will serve absolutely everything.
Like identity, like digital identity.
So all those things, because we have value, you just don't have a way to formalize your value. And all this is going to change completely the paradigm of that in like the coming years. So again, it's still pretty trippy out there, but these use cases are coming more and more. And this is, again, the way this is not super exciting in the sense that people think NFTs, oh no, it's exciting because I bought a piece of art. I'm like, this is cool, but this is not super exciting if you ask me. It's just because we are in the infrastructure phase now. It's like, okay, you have a car, but you're building the roads. You need gas stations, you need all those things. And this is the moment we are now. Give it 5, 10, 20 years, the world is a different place. And just like one thing that we learned that for critical mass projects in like open source that has traction tends to win. See Linux. I think the number is 98% of the servers in the world use Linux. I come from a time that I used to work at Microsoft in 2001. It's like you could not lose, and said, no, we have already lost. We just need time. Repeating myself, and I remember that I said this before. I believe, and literally tell me like in 10 years, 20 years, if I was
You're
tripping,
on the record.
like I'm on the record here very intentionally, but I think crypto and blockchain, it's much bigger than AI. Because again, AI is, oh my God, it will impact absolutely everything, the way we live and we do things. But AI is almost like the platform that is more tied more to the use cases, as opposed to blockchain crypto being the environment. E-commerce will not be bigger than the internet, cannot be bigger than the internet. So crypto is this new internet, if you will.
So who do you think, like, if you think conceptually, there are traditional players, right, that got licenses, and then there are newcomers like yourself. How do we think about the competitive edges and where do these two camps stand
Yeah.
in terms of chances to succeed in the future or ride this wave of regulatory change?
In my mind, you know, the best example I have in history, at least I relate to that a lot, is Amazon. So I think that Amazon started selling books online, right? That's how it started. Jeff Bezos had this amazing vision. It was not by accident that he ended up becoming the everything store. Uh, but Amazon can only exist because of the internet. So retailers existed before the internet, right? The same way asset managers exist now or have been existing for a long time now. Uh, but value at its core will be challenged, will be transformed. So managing assets will be something else in the coming 10, 20, 30 years. And I think companies like Hashdex are so much better positioned to become BlackRock than BlackRock. You see, just like Amazon was better positioned to become Amazon or
Walmart?
the internet than Walmart was, right? And great Walmart, like great company. I mean, had its troubles, whatever, but they reposition and they are relevant. They are fantastic. Um, but we forget all the guys that were left behind.
Didn't make it.
Didn't make it, and it's relevant. It's a big piece of the industry, right? So this market will change. Some guys, I would assume, will pivot, will adapt, but I think the innovation will come from really the crypto natives, but the crypto regulated natives, because one misconception that I think the industry had, doesn't have anymore or less and less, but it was this idea that crypto, this very libertarian idea that I love to have discussion stuff, but it's very non-practical, that crypto would thrive without regulation. That would not happen, guys. Really, value is regulated. Not that I agree with all regulations, to be clear, okay? I mean, this thing ultimately, and now we can say I'm an outsider of financial markets. I've been in financial markets formally for 6 years now, but I'm an outsider. I come from tech. This thing is a club. Trust me, this thing is a real club. You know, it's almost like you have a number of rules that maybe did not need to exist, but it is what it is. You can try to fight reality or accept it and work with that. And the truth is, value at its core is regulated for good reason. So Bitcoin alone challenges store value of the world, which is US dollar. Of course, US will react.
There is this quote from Financial Times that dragged my attention. The quote of Dennis Kelleher, president of Better Markets, who said that the approval is a historic mistake that will not only unleash crypto predators on tens of millions of investors and retirees, but will also likely undermine financial stability. So, can you elaborate on this quote and talk a little bit about the potential downsides that come with this decision of SEC?
So once Paul Krugman very famously said that the internet would not have a bigger impact. He said that in 95, said in 2 years it will be clear that the internet has not a bigger impact than the fax machine. And get me right, Paul Krugman is a genius. He's a fantastic dude. I just think this is literally a misunderstanding. It's a non-understanding of how it truly works. Even for very intelligent and well-positioned people, it's because it's a change of paradigm. I always point to quantum mechanics with classic physics, right? So, I mean, back in the day, you had all the Nobel Prizes, Einstein included. I mean, the biggest geniuses in the world just undermining quantum mechanics, saying this thing is bullshit, whatever. And honestly, given the reality of what they understood of the world, that was right. Physics had not been developed yet, like the books had not been written yet, right? Physics is calculus, and quantum mechanics is statistics, and or is probabilities. It changes completely the paradigm. So if you try to use the frameworks you have today to describe something of this nature, you will fail. So one of the problems with crypto is that people try to go first with this idea of currency. And this is backed by nothing. So those are the first arguments, is that this is bullshit. And it's like, sure, but what gold is backed by? Say, no, it's physical.
You can touch it.
You know what is actually the percentage that you use gold? You know, what is the utility of gold other than store value, other than you getting the gold, literally storing in a vault? You know what is the percentage? You know this number?
No.
1.8%. 98.2% of all gold, existent gold, is used to literally be stored. Gold has no utility other than store value. So why Bitcoin is different? It's digital. You cannot touch. And that's a great thing because like we hate paper these days. I mean, we like touching human beings. We like to touch, like, I don't know, ideas. We like to touch other things, but not, material gold. Again, I don't think people come from necessarily a bad place. They have good intentions. They just don't understand and they really need the time, or they need to give up on that and just let the new generation to be born under this new paradigm and keep going and follow through with this.
So no downsides.
There are downsides, absolutely. But it's one of those things that downsides, in my opinion, it's so much smaller than the benefits. It's just like, great. Now, with social media, you have fake news.
Yeah.
Terrible thing. I mean, oh my God, scary. Very bad for the world.
Especially ahead of the elections.
Of course. Huge, very real problem. I mean, do you want to shut down the internet because of that? Are we discussing this? Was the internet not worthwhile? I mean, it's a crazy talk. The value the internet brought for society is so much bigger than its problems. There are a bunch of bad things. So you have like people, bad actors using crypto, to launder money. I don't know. You have people using crypto to commit crimes and stuff. Is the smallest part. So if you take the stats, it's not even relevant to talk about that.
Yeah, it dominates the headlines, right? Because it drags attention, though.
Because people don't understand. So actually, people say, for instance, crypto is great to commit crimes, right?
Yeah.
Wrong. Crypto is great to solve crimes. I don't know, if you stole money here, you can send to Tokyo and then to, I don't know, wherever, thousands of places, but you're always going to leave trace because we're talking about public blockchains. It's a terrible idea to commit crimes in crypto. You will get caught. And you have many examples. Oh my God, Silk Road. So Silk Road, for those who are not aware, was like a marketing internet in the deep web that you could basically buy everything, including or especially illegal things. You could hire a killer. You could buy drugs. I mean, literally, it was a very libertarian marketplace. The idea was not, let's enable crime, but it's like human beings should be able to do whatever they want. That was the roots where it came from. And it did, and this is 2014, so 11, 12, like 2014 when the FBI shut down, but it only accepted Bitcoin. Oh my God, big case, right? All right, so Silk Road could only, the founder could only get caught because it was crypto. If you had to be money, could never happen. It would be so much harder. But again, because it was Bitcoin, left traces, like agents were very successful in finding and actually shutting down.
For retail investors, what are the things that they should be cautious of or mindful of as they now consider purchasing or entering this asset class?
They should know that it's extremely volatile. Now you have ETFs. I think the operational risk has been reduced by a lot. Because if you just want to buy crypto directly, now you need to know where this crypto is coming from if you have volume, but now you need to store that. Now you need to transfer this from one side to the other. Now you need to be mindful. How do you go about succession? What if you take the wrong plane and now you have millions of dollars locked in, I don't know where. With ETFs, all this thing is gone, right? Operational risk is gone. So basically it's a decision. Do you want to get exposure to, in US, Bitcoin now or not? What we say is that we believe that every portfolio from institutions to retail investors, that is your question, should have crypto investments. Absolutely everyone. But it should be very little and very long. Okay? Think that crypto is more about the possibilities than uncertainties. The risk, exactly this, the not knowing how much this thing is going to value in the future, what's going to be its place. And that's the risk you're going to take. And that's why there's so much volatility. So you should definitely get exposure because there is asymmetric potential return. If you invest 1%, worst case, you can lose 1%, which I think we're beyond this point of risk of ruin, right? I mean, I think you're going to lose your investment at this point in time. But let's assume it is, like it's an extreme. You can lose 1%. But how many assets can give you, I don't know, tens, hundreds, maybe thousands of access in the next tens of years? Crypto is definitely one of them.
Yeah, I wanted to make a joke about venture capital.
But absolutely, crypto is a great parallel. So crypto now is liquid venture capital. So that's great. It's a great way to position.
In terms of the impact of this decision on Hashdex and Hashdex business development and growth strategy.
So US opening basically is reaffirming the vision that we had for a company. Funny enough, not a lot of people know, but we started here in America. And actually we left America because the environment was not great for crypto. And Brazil, funny enough, is not that Brazil was welcoming, it was not. But you did have what I say, like intellectual honesty among both our Fed, our central bank, and our SEC. It's called CVM. So we said, you know what, we're Brazilians. Let's go back home and try to do for this. There is a big market. There are serious leaders there that don't know anything about it, but they will be open to try to understand. And that was exactly, the bet worked out fantastically. US opening means a lot because we always intended to be this global company. Brazil was more a strategy than an end goal. I am Brazilian, my co-founder is Brazilian. We started in Brazil, but this was literally, that was a strategy.
GTM, first market.
Exactly. It was going global from America to the rest. Funny enough, we're doing this now from Brazil to the rest of the world, which I love. Couldn't be a better story. I'm Brazilian.
From Latin America to the world.
So US opening now is a big deal because our business is in the center of this. Is one of the few players in the world who truly in this mission of transforming asset management.
So for you as a CEO, what are, let's say, a handful, maybe 3 decisions that you're going to make in the next, I don't know, whatever, pick a time, post this SEC approval?
Yeah, so one is actually truly investing in America. America is the most expensive market in the world to invest.
The most competitive right now, right?
Because it's the most competitive. And it made not sense before to heavily invest here because it was the most uncertain, believe it or not. Generally, it's the opposite, right? It's competitive, it's expensive, but it's the best because...
Can I understand what you're signing up for?
Everything's possible here, land of opportunity and stuff. For crypto, that was not the case, funny enough. I think really, I don't know if people are going to remember in history that happened, but this is the truth. That's the reality. Kudos to Brazil, to Switzerland, to a number of other countries. All right. So we're going to invest in America. That's one. We're really going global. Again, keep in mind that now most of our business in Brazil, this is shifting. We're really very intentionally going to go global. So we're talking about M&As. We're talking about a number of very cool projects, like entering new markets and so on. So that's the moment that would double down on that. And last but not least, I would say that now is the moment that we go back to more daring products, I guess. So market is opening now, is back to a place, or go back to a place in which, in the best possible way, we're going to challenge regulators. I think we learned super well how to do this, how to get innovation and get regulators to, over time, is never fast.
You mentioned that already, but one of the factors of relative success or success in Brazil is because regulators had this intellectual honesty, and they were and are willing to collaborate with the industry in terms of defining the set of rules, product strategies, and so on and so forth. What do you imagine that will be something similar in the US with the US regulators, or is going to be a different format of these dairy movements?
It's very hard to answer this in the sense that it started. How fast it's going to happen, it would depend a lot on what is the leadership the agencies will have. It's funny because, and again, I'm not trying to talk poorly but just the facts. When this administration came, Gary Gensler, the MIT crypto professor, was named. Everybody was so hopeful, said, okay, now this thing's gonna literally move. And it was the exact opposite, for reasons we can ponder, we can speculate, but that was the reality. And now it happened after a lot of fight, litigation, and a number of these things. was an important move, but we don't have the signs that the SEC now, not only the SEC, right, but regulators in general. You have some that are better. The FTC was super fast. Kudos to them. But you have a number. I mean, US, you have OCC, you have so many. You have the Senate, you have the Congress. I mean, US is not super clear yet on the topic. So we don't have like any indication that the current leadership will carry this agenda. We just truly hope that the next administration will bring leaders like Roberto Campos Neto. Oh my God, this guy, we should make a statue of him. I don't know, in every
digital statue.
I don't know,
in crypto,
it's
and sell NFTs.
Fantastic. No, and really, because this is brilliance. This is excellence. Roberto Campos, I remember super well. He knew nothing about crypto in the beginning, and now he probably he's one of the most prolific specialists in the world. This is absolutely fantastic. So you have literally depth. So you have somebody with the decision power, the influence power that has clarity, and then you have great frameworks. You have Drex, Pix before even is not tied to crypto or digital assets at its core, but it is digital money. It is the digitalization of that. Crypto maybe is a decentralized digitalization that brings like challenges and benefits, a lot of benefits and some challenges. But he knows that. So we need that in US. I'm very hopeful that now, politicians want it or not, the institutions here, the smart money here in America will force politicians to respond to that.
Fingers crossed.
But it will happen, period.
How big is Hashdex today in terms of whatever data points you can disclose?
We are now in the 3 continents, the Americas and Europe. We have products listed in 8 countries. We are a nimble team of 65 people.
65 people.
That's something I learned in the last bull run.
It's a very lean team.
This is the kind of stuff that you even if like sometimes when you're going crazy with this bull runs and you keep hiring people, really now I'm very committed to have the smallest possible team I can, and really to benefit from the scale of financial markets, because this is one of the things. Financial markets, really, the beautiful thing is that it is a scale game, right? You manage an amount of capital that if it gets bigger, you don't need necessarily more people for that.
It's like a SaaS product.
It is. So Rio is our headquarters. We have offices in São Paulo, New York, and London.
When you talk to people, even entrepreneurs, about Rio, everybody thinks about Carnival. And when you talk about tech and startups and the ecosystem in general, in Latin America, everybody thinks Sao Paulo, which is well-deserved. Majority of tech unicorns and, all of these incredibly growing companies are based in Sao Paulo. You chose to build your business in Rio, I assume partially because you're native to Rio, but that should not be the only reason. So what are your long-term expectations or ideas in terms of the future of Rio as a tech hub?
So you're absolutely right. Especially this decade, São Paulo became, it was already the financial hub, the business. It became the financial hub, but it was the business hub of Latin America, and well-deserved. São Paulo is fantastic in this sense.
I love São Paulo.
Oh, São Paulo is fantastic. But I love Rio in so many ways. I love the city. I love living there. I love having my kids growing there. I love the people, the lifestyle. I love everything about Rio. But Rio was the capital, was the center. What São Paulo kind of became was Rio before. So we have a lot of legacy assets there, if you will.
I spoke with a number of startups that were founded by people from Rio.
Of course.
And their key narrative was, look, the moment you hit a certain stage, the moment you raise venture capital money, you really have to have a lot of leverage, reputational leverage, or build out net worth before to say, no, I'm not moving to Sao Paulo, because constantly VCs are pushing you to move to Sao Paulo.
I think this is bullshit. It's more like a mindset more than the reality. And especially if we're talking about specific competitive advantages, I think starting a company in Rio is so much easier than Sao Paulo. So much easier. Because in Rio, you have great talents. Depending on the industry, you have more or less, but you have great talent. You have people that you can repatriate, and you have few great projects. compared to São Paulo. In São Paulo, you're competing with Nubank. You're competing with Quinto Andar. You're competing with, oh my God, all these guys. You have way less competition. So starting a company is so much easier in Rio, like for this fact alone. Growing a company, I agree. Like when you start like having a company with thousands of employees, then São Paulo has a huge competitive advantage.
What has to be true or what has to happen for Rio to become one of important startup hubs in Latin America? Given that, like you said, there is a number of companies that are growing, and Vander Cortese, who has been on this podcast, and
amazing company, right?
Amazing company, BP Saúde, started in Rio, growing from Rio, operating across Brazil. So what has to be true for that all to skyrocket the growth of the ecosystem around Rio?
What I think, and that was at some extent my vision for crypto in Rio, is that if you have a new market or a new phenomenon, new disruptive tech that you can really embrace and start from there, that could be the seed of something that could grow big. I always remember Seattle. Seattle had first Microsoft almost alone, then Starbucks, and then Amazon, and boom, it became a hub, right? So I think you need to have like, it could be a big company, but I think it's better like a new line of tech, if you will, or disruptive, whatever. Maybe crypto will become this.
So no pressure, but you might need to lead the way.
Yeah, maybe.
For the Rio ecosystem.
Imagine if I become Amazon or Microsoft. Hopefully not in the number of people. And like, I don't want to have like a company. I mean, that I learned. Like, I really prefer a company with the least people possible.
We did the rapid fire before, but to wrap things up, I have one last question for you, which is, what's your proudest moment to date in your professional journey?
Wow. I think I have to go with founding Hashdex. Hashdex is my life, my everything in so many ways. And the founding team, the guys that were there from the beginning, and then most of them still there. This is important to say. It represents us. It's literally the collection of our vision, dreams, pride. Literally, like Hashdex is something that I'm incredibly proud of what we're building, how we're catalyzing this process of this beautiful future come to reality faster. I think that's the role we play. So we have this big vision. We love being in Hashdex. We love working with each other. I don't know if I mentioned this, but I think I did. We only hire like 4 things. So if you are at Hashdex, we're at Hashdex, you are one of these 4 people. If you stop any one of the 66 people there, like they're gonna very consistently repeat you that. Because they are that and they know this, they live this. Do bem, do bom, low ego, high energy. Do bem, it means good? That, you are a good soul. Like we spend far too much time at work to work with people we don't like. This is important. Do bom, you're freaking awesome in what you do. You're excellence. You are brilliance. And if you don't have the background, your behavior has to compensate. Oh my God, you're great. Go check. It's consistent, really. Hashdex, I very proudly say if it's not the best team in the industry, it's one of the best in the industry. It's very impressive, the guys, the caliber of people we have there. Low ego. If you need to be in the cover of newspapers to be happy, if you need to be right all the time, great. Like, it's not going to be with us, man. Like, you're going to be working somewhere else. And high energy, like, we love this kind of people who are excited about things. You want to make this happen. You like said, yes, give it to me. Yes. I think I have the solution. Like, go, okay, let's do this. So it's 4 things. You could be a bunch of things. Hashtags, you just need to be this 4. If you're this 4, I mean, and you're not working with us, please call me. Please send me an email. We'd love to meet you.
There we go. On-air recruitment. Actually, we have not spoken about that. That it's so good that you mentioned those 4 things because we haven't touched on the building blocks of culture. Low ego element. I just finished this book by Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence
Dale
People.
Carnegie. I love this book.
And there was this big chapter on ego and being right versus getting to the results is way more important than being right. You can be right all you want, but lose deals, lose connections, lose
network. And get right, low ego is not no ego, okay? That does not exist. We all have egos. We just prefer people
I think ego is an important element aspects of
it's an unavoidable. I mean, you were born with that. That's actually something you have to deal every day. The thing is, can you keep this under control because of the outcome?
Yeah.
You know, like,
can you focus on things that matter versus immediate gratification?
Yeah.
Marcelo, I can talk with you for hours.
Me too. Like a lot. I mean, as you can see,
I'm really grateful for you finding time in your busy schedule. And I know that your schedule is really busy, especially in the face of the recent events, to stop by for part 2 and talk about what that actually means for people who are not boiling in the industry. I tend to agree with what you're saying, and mass marketization and consumerization of Bitcoin and crypto will happen at a snap of a finger. And that becomes relevant for everyone. So it's good to be aware and it's good to understand.
Thanks for having me. I'm a big fan of the podcast. I think you do a fantastic job, very needed job. One of the issues of Brazilian entrepreneurship is just it doesn't have great access content, English content, so the world could understand what's happening, who are the players, what they're doing. And you're doing really a very important job. So big fan. Congrats for that. Thanks for having me. Like, it's always a pleasure.
I'm turning red at this point. We're done.